The Toronto Maple Leafs trade deadline plans have been revealed, as well as Corey Perry is close to signing, and a new team is frontrunners to land him. And we'll break all this down for you coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, just want to say that 82.3% of you guys watching this aren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you love the NHL just like all of us, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, join the community here because we really appreciate it, all your support. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, which is new team emerges as front runners for Corey Perry. And as we take a look here from Elliotte Friedman, he says, I just think one of the questions is Perry's going to want somewhere quieter. Toronto is a loud market. I don't think that's going to work. He also says here, Edmonton's a louder market, though I definitely believe they have interest. Are there going to be some teams in quieter situations that will be in the running for him as well? But we do also see here from some trusted insiders in Chris Johnston, Frank Saravelli, and Bob Stouffer. They favor the Oilers in securing Perry, and reports indicate that Oilers are actively exploring the addition of the forward to their roster. And Bob Stouffer, host of Oilers Now, confirms the team has been doing their due diligence on the player. Frank Saravelli highlights the Oilers' weeks-long pursuit, expressing genuine interest. He adds that Perry is contemplating various options, reportedly places Edmonton high on the list in preferred destinations, and Chris Johnston dismisses Toronto's likelihood, redirecting attention to Edmonton, emphasizing that several teams are interested in Perry, but the Oilers are a significant contender. Now, obviously, right now, the market is hot on Corey Perry. The Corey Perry sweepstakes are on. You're going to get this guy on a really cheap deal here, a guy who you can throw on your bottom six. And in Edmonton's case here, I think this guy could crack the top six. You throw him on that second line here. And Edmonton's been on a roll. They're on a 10-game win streak right now. They popped up, I believe they're maybe fifth in the Pacific right now. I think their record's around 23-15 as I'm recording this video. This team kind of came out of nowhere. They were struggling at the beginning of the year. There's been on a hot pace as of late, and it's great to see these guys kind of get back into the playoff picture here. And when you're adding a veteran like Corey Perry, a former Rocket Richard winner, a former Art Ross winner, I believe, or a Hart Trophy winner or something like this. This guy has the veteran experience that you need on a playoff team. And as we take a look at his stats here, like we said, Corey Perry, league vet here. So before his absence in Chicago, he did have 9 points in 16 games. But as we see here, we look at the playoff stats because this is what you're getting in a guy like Corey Perry. Just in Tampa in 21-22, he had 11 points through 23 games, and he was a big part of that Montreal Canadiens playoff run in 2021. When he had 10 points in 22 games. But this is a guy you're going to get. He's a guy you need in a playoff run, in my opinion. He's a veteran. He's been there. He knows how to get to the top. And I really want to see this guy get a ring. He's been there so many times. I believe it was like 3 years in a row he was in the Stanley Cup Finals and lost. So I really hope that we get to see this guy get a ring. And I really do think if he signs in Edmonton, this would be great for them. And just like I said here, we'll take a look at their lines right now. And you probably saw Corey Perry here on the right wing on this second line, maybe move Fogle down a line, and he'd be playing with Draisaitl and Evander Kane. That line would just be phenomenal for this team. Maybe you want to keep Fogle up there. He's been playing good as of late. Maybe you throw him on the third line there with Ryan McLeod and Janmark. Even this situation could really help get some offense through this bottom six as well. But I really do think if you get this guy, you throw him on that second line, test him out with Draisaitl and Kane, and I really do think this would be great. You have Corey Perry's one of those guys who's going to get in front of the net. He's going to be looking for deflections in front of the net. And you got a guy like Leon Draisaitl, a guy like Evander Kane, with the shot they have, shooting them at the front of the net. I really do think this could be a recipe for success. And I really do hope we see Corey Perry sign here at Edmonton, because I think this would be a great landing spot for him. Like Elliotte Friedman said, it is a bit of a louder market with all, the dismissal he had in Chicago and all this stuff surrounding him. I do think the media may harp on him a little bit. But I do think if he wants a chance to win a ring before he retires, I think Edmonton It's a great spot to do it. And another team that has been in the mix here is Toronto. I know Chris Johnston has dismissed him from being on Toronto's radar, but I really do think that Toronto's active on this. He'd be a great addition to their bottom six as well. But let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think Corey Perry is a great fit here in Edmonton? Because I really like to see him go here. Playing on a line with Draisaitl and Kane, I think would just be phenomenal. But let me know down in the comment section. We're going to get into our second topic video today, which is Leafs deadline plan revealed. And as we take a look here, from Elliotte Friedman on his 32 Thoughts podcast, he said the Leafs are reluctant to part with their 2024 first Easton Cowan or Fraser Minton and prefer to acquire a player with term or a player they know they can extend at the deadline. It seems like Brad Treliving just wants all the positives and none of the negatives at this deadline. And I really do think that this is a great plan going into this trade deadline. You don't want to give up your, top prospects here in Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan, guys who've been playing great in the juniors this year. We did see Fraser Minton get a stint with Toronto at the beginning of the season, then went back to the WHL, and these guys have been playing phenomenal. And I think it's great here. I think it's a smart move by Brad Treliving to keep these guys around for next season, because I know a lot of people are saying they're going to be in a cap crunch next year. Maybe Easton Cowan and Fraser Minton have a great camp before the beginning of next season. They get a spot in this lineup, and they get to save some money to reallocate it somewhere else. Maybe they sign a couple defensemen, maybe they sign a bottom six guy. But I really do think that Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan could be bottom six players for Toronto next season. And I think keeping them around is definitely the best option. I mean, if a trade does arise where it's a blockbuster deal, you can bring in a guy. I mean, maybe you have to part with him in this situation, but to bring in some role players for the Stanley Cup run, I think you want to hold on to these guys. Just seeing how they're playing this year, I think it's a great plan here by Brad Treliving to go in, try to get some guys with term here. I think it's just a great idea, but like I said, Easton Cowan, had the biggest jump in the OHL this year. I mean, last year he had 53 points in 68 games, and right now he's at 50 points in 28 games. He did play in the World Junior Championship, where it was a little bit underwhelming for Team Canada. He did have 2 points in 5 games there. But when you look at his stats here, he had 53 and 68 last year. He's at 50 right now in 28. So, he could easily hit 100 points here in the OHL this year with the London Knights. Like we said, he's a 28th overall pick this year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, you want to keep this guy around. Just, the value on him is really high right now. But if this is how he's playing in junior, I really do think that he could come over to the NHL and be a great player here for the Toronto. But the other guy we're going to talk about here is Fraser Minton. Like we said, Team Canada's captain at the World Juniors. Like I said, in regards to Easton Cowan, a little bit of an underwhelming performance, but did play pretty solid, pretty great defensively. He had 3 points in 5 games, and so far, back with the Saskatoon Blades in the WHL after being traded from Kamloops. He has 10 points in 9 games here, and this was Toronto's second round pick back in 2022. And like we see here, his stats aren't as outstanding as Easton Cowan, but this guy is more of a two-way forward here in the sense of he's a great 200-foot player. He's a great defensively, and we've seen him crack this roster at, I think it was 19 years of age at the beginning of the season. So another year in the WHL, getting some experience under his belt is only going to help him solidify himself maybe as a third, maybe fourth line center for this Toronto team next year. And I really do like this plan, like I said, from Brad Treliving. You go out, try to get a guy with term, a guy you can try to extend here at the deadline, and really push for this playoff, for the Stanley Cup this year in the playoffs. And I really do think that Toronto could do this. They could land a guy here for fairly cheap without leaving these guys in the mix. They do have guys like Brazazi. They have Tapi Niemela down in the minors that they could shop around at the deadline here to bring in some veterans to, maybe toughen up this defense, toughen up the bottom six a little bit, just so they can go farther in the playoffs this year. But it'll be really interesting to see what Brad and the Toronto Maple Leafs do here at the deadline. But I really do think keeping these top prospects around is a great plan to start with. And, there have been rumors of guys like Chris Tanev. I believe Tanev is expiring at the end of this year, so they would go out like to trade him. They'd expect to maybe get an extension out of him. Hometown guy, could really maybe stick around for a few years. But I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section below. What do you think of this plan from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Brad Treliving? I'm a really big fan of it. I really do think you keep your top prospects around, put them in while you're, in a cap crunch next year, and go from there. But let me know down below what you guys think. We're going to get in everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Pat G Mafia. He says, hopefully Lindholm doesn't go to the Avs. And he says he updated his picture so you guys know you're chatting with. Good show, Casey. Shout out to you, Pat G. Obviously, day one supporter here on the channel. And might I say, looking good, Pat G. Nice to see, put a face to the name now. Great, we always love your support here on the channel. You know that. Day one supporter here. It's one of the top commenters. We really love your support, Patchy. And shout out to you. Looking good, my man. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're on the road for 3,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you love the NHL, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. And, if you enjoy the NHL, make sure to check out this video that's popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.